Hey there, you're watching The Appreciationist. My name is Peter Hartman.
Hi, I'm Valerie Soule.
And I'm Samantha Barley.
And tonight we're talking about focused energy. Something sounds wonky with this thing. I gotta get it properly tuned. Hey, welcome to the show. Really happy that you're here tonight. We're gonna have a fun time talking about focused energy. But before we get to that, I have to let you know in our first segment what I learned this week. Well, what did I learn this week? I learned a lot this week. I learned that the CIA can listen to you through your Samsung TV. Of course, they don't do it to Americans, but because I'm not American, I feel a little bothered by that. But that's not very interesting. What I learned actually was coming from Dave Chappelle, comedian Dave Chappelle. He was talking about Trump. He said that Trump is actually bad for comedy. He thinks that Trump is bad for comedy. And I was actually very curious about this. He says that a lot of comedians now are just making the same types of jokes, the same jokes about Trump. And it's making comedians lazy and sort of limiting the scope, the range of the conversation that people can have. And I kind of feel that. I don't know if I'm interested in comedy, so I listen to this a lot and listen to comedians talk about Trump all the time. I kind of understand what he means. So I didn't realize George Bush was good for comedy, but Trump is a little too much for comedy, I think. So that was actually very interesting to learn.
It's too easy. Is that what it is, or eventually people will get a bit more creative, hopefully?
Well, it's from what I understand and from what he explained was that Trump is on everyone's mind. And as a comedian, you want to joke about things that people are actually thinking about, things that are actually going on, things that are relevant. And it seems like the most relevant thing right now. I imagine if we were like going to build a space station on Mars and the whole country was focused on that, then we'd have a lot of jokes about space, and that would get kind of boring too after a while. So it's not Trump in particular, it's just that it's such a big point of focus that it's drawing a lot of attention. And so I'm going to try and do a little less Trump jokes. Yeah,
eventually.
That's what I learned this week. But the most important thing we do during the show is called a moment of appreciation. And that's where we look back at the past 7 days and we pick out something that we appreciated. It could be something good that happened that's easy to appreciate, or it could be something that wasn't so great, but that we can see the value in today. For example, I was shoveling snow at 4 a.m. this morning. After shoveling snow at 9 p.m. that night. Halfway through, I was really appreciating. Halfway through the second time, I was really appreciating it because I was getting exercise. I mean, my goodness, just sitting behind my computer is a terrible thing. And I was helping out, and I like to help out. So it was cool. I reminded myself that I was making muscles, big muscles for myself. So more. What I'm asking for is more snowstorms from the universe.
No way!
Anyway, that's one of the things I appreciated. How about you guys? Do you guys appreciate anything in the last 7 days?
Go ahead, Sam.
I'm not sure. I have something from yesterday, but I'm trying to think of something else. So if you're ready, go ahead.
Okay, I'll have two things. First of all, I'm going through a very strange period right now, which I know is going to be super good for me. And I'm really appreciating the generosity of friends and family. It's just, wow. I'm learning to receive every day. It's not always comfortable, but I have to appreciate it. Really, I cannot do anything else but that. So it brings me to tears quite often. So there's that. And then more specifically, honestly, today, as you know, you're talking about the snow for people who are in Montreal and the surrounding areas. We're really pretty much buried in the snow. So I'm really happy that I don't have to go anywhere and that I can just leave my car in the street and just get to it just tomorrow. I can be in my PJs all day long and not even look outside, just like my cat who doesn't even want to look outside because it's so bad. So that's it. I'm really happy that I have that kind of lifestyle.
Hey, I really like that. That's really cool. That's something to appreciate. That's for sure. That's pretty cool. Thanks for sharing that with us, Val. I really appreciate that. Yeah, learning to receive. Isn't that a difficult thing, especially for people who are givers?
Yeah.
It could be a hard.
It's really like get out of your comfort zone. That's one. Yeah.
That's right. I remember when I was younger, I decided. Well, younger. I was a little younger than I am today, and I decided that anytime somebody sort of offered me anything or complimented me, that I wouldn't sort of be humble about it. I would just say thanks and embrace it. And it was a difficult transition, but hell, it really helps you out in life. I don't know, Sam, if you've ever had to go through something like that, but being able to sort of accept something, accept praise, and say, yes, thank you, I am good, as opposed to brushing it off or saying no to it is really, really cool. How about you, Sam? You got a moment of appreciation for us? You've been mulling something over there?
No, and then my brain wasn't working. It's not. I was listening to Val. I was gonna think of something else, like I think of my whole week and stuff, but then I didn't. I got caught up in her thing and your thing. So no, I didn't think of anything else other than what happened yesterday. So I mean, and nothing really big happened. Anyway, so yes, my brain is a little foggy.
It happens.
There's gonna be an image of me now on the Appreciationist doing this. You always have this, right? So I gotta get one. Okay, so yeah, so the snowstorm. Yesterday I was home during the snowstorm. I had a session, phone session and stuff like that. I saw it coming down. I was like, wow, that's crazy. And then I was like, I planned to go to yoga. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna go to yoga. And I was like, you know, like, what is the big deal? You know, like it's just snow, I put some stuff on. Anyway, so I started walking to the metro, and it was like in the like midst of it, like evening, like early evening when it was like really crazy. And like all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, like maybe I should have stayed home, because I was walking to the metro and it was just like vroom, vroom, snow in my face, covering my glasses. Like I was getting like a facial. It was crazy. Like I have nice skin now because of all the snow on my pores. Anyway, so it was like, yeah, you got some pictures. It's really, really crazy out there. So yeah, so I made it to the metro. Anyway, it was tough, but I went to my yoga class, and I actually on Tuesday night sometimes I do 2 yoga classes, because one's like a harder one and then there's like a softer one after. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna stay, and I see the snow out the window, and it was just so beautiful. Like it was really, really like
beautiful when you're indoors and watching it. Otherwise,
that's right. But even like walking the metro and that experience, so I stayed, and like the second class there were 4 of us when normally there's like 15 or something. So it was like a private class. It was really like relaxing. It was by candlelight, seeing the snow outside, knowing that I'm inside nice and comfy doing yoga, like warm. I was really, really appreciating the snowstorm. Like I actually really appreciate it. Because I don't have a car to shuffle, because I don't have like crazy stuff to do. I have the sort of schedule that allows me to like, you know, chill out and then just go to yoga and then do a phone session. Like it's so simple. And I'm just really like, I'm actually really glad that I chose to go to yoga, even though it was crazy, because then I got to experience that. Like after yoga was even crazier, and like everybody downtown's like taking videos, and the whole city's like, oh my God. And it was just like a fun experience yesterday to like get out, go. Yeah, so I got a little wet, but like, yeah, just appreciating, you know, Mother Nature, and like, okay, it's our last snowstorm of the year, and
let's hope. It's beautiful. Yeah. It really is beautiful.
Yeah.
And just so you know, it was actually snow that was easy to shovel. It was very light, and I appreciate it.
Good to know.
Yeah, I was telling Sam this this past weekend. I never feel more Canadian than when these things happen, than when it's bitter and snow.
I was thinking
yes.
I was thinking of you when you said that the other day, but when it was like freezing cold. But this, I was like, oh yeah, I'm Canadian now. And then I asked my family who were like in Toronto and stuff like that. It's like they did not get at all what we got, you know.
It's really nuts. Well, that's it for a moment of appreciation. I really love that. Thank you, Sam, for sharing that with us, and you too also, Val. Look, there's a lot to appreciate, and what we want to do is just to exercise our appreciation muscles, because the more we do so, the better we will get at it. And trust me, in times like these, you definitely need it. Next up on the show, we have our segment called What a Great Idea. And that's where I point you towards a product, a service, a website, a person, an idea that is deserving of your attention, because whatever we give our attention to becomes a greater part of our experience. So why not give our attention to great ideas? This week's great idea is actually, well, it's a comedian/television show. Let me bring it up here. It's called The Carmichael Show. Have you guys ever heard of Gerard Carmichael?
Nope.
He's a rising comedian. He's a young guy, young black guy. One of the reasons I'm attracted to him, but his humor is so edgy and and his television show is based on his comedy, where they talk about Black Lives Matter, where they talk about guns, where they talk about pro-choice, pro-life, where they talk about all kinds of issues that you don't typically see. And he does it in a sitcom format. That's the point. He doesn't want mindless entertainment. What he wants is to create a show that requires you, that engages you in conversation, whether you agree with him or disagree with him, whether you want to argue or debate it. He wants to generate a conversation, and it's definitely generating a conversation. This guy's definitely someone to pay attention to. So if you're ever at home on watching NBC and you want to watch something that isn't going to turn your brain off, but it's going to cause you to ask questions, you're going to hear people, you're going to hear what it's like to have a family having these interesting conversations, a Black family at that. So if you don't know that world, you definitely want to get interested in that. The Carmichael show is definitely one to watch. So Gerard Carmichael, he's what a great idea. I was actually just before the show, trying to think about, what could I say for what a great idea, and I just completely spaced on this thing that I discovered this week, NBC discovered it 2 years ago, but I found it out today, and it was really, really cool. Check it out. It's on NBC. It's coming back. And he's also having a special release this weekend called 8. So it's going to be on HBO. You guys, today we're talking about focused energy. And when I wrote the title of the show, I kind of wondered to myself, does this mean anything to anybody else? Is this ambiguous? Is it kind of strange, this focused energy, or is it something that people understand? So my first question to you, gals, is when you hear focused energy, what does that mean to you? What does that tell you? What does that bring to mind when you think about focused energy? I know where I'm going with it, but I'm just wondering, is the title ambiguous? Is it just...
No, it makes sense to me. It means take the energy that you have and put it on a specific subject, like put all your attention on something. If it's important to you, focus, put it all there, create something, change something.
Yeah, that's exactly right. No, I like that. How about you, Val? When you think of focused energy, do you think about the similar things, or does something else come to mind?
No, I think it was similar, but I saw it as to me, especially these days, it's like focus your energy so you can have a good level of energy, and so that's kind of the way that I saw it. So the more you focus, the sharper you focus, the more productive and efficient you are.
And that's exactly right. That's exactly the word, about efficiency, We all have energy. We're all energetic creatures, and we're exuding energy, some more than others, but we're all doing it. And if you can imagine a water garden hose that's turned on but isn't held by anyone, then the hose is just flopping around, right? It's just the energy is the water is spraying all over. And I find that sometimes people can be that way, They have this energy, they have this desire, they have this ambition, but because they don't focus their attention, their energy is being exuded, is being expelled, but it's being expelled in all these different directions. And a focused energy is about creating in an efficient manner, efficiently crafting, shaping your reality. And so both of what you're saying exactly contributing to that. I love the idea of focused energy because it helps you to choose more deliberately where you want your attention to be focused. I mean, that's actually the point. If you're trying to think about crafting your experience, improving your own reality, then you have to ask yourself, well, what should I give my attention to? What is deserving of my attention? That's a great question to ask in order to focus your energy. Do I give my attention to what the world presents to me? Am I more deliberate in my curation of the world around me? I think those are important questions. When it comes to asking yourself the question, Sam, where should I put my energy? Where should I put my energy? Is that something that comes up in the conversations you have with people? Are they wondering about where to direct their energy, or are they just sort of all over the place without wondering why? Is that like a common issue when it comes to people trying to improve their lives, asking themselves, where can I focus my energy?
I've never had a question like them say that flat out, but that's clearly what they're coming to see me for. Like some of them anyway, they know what they want. Some of them, they know what they want. They know how they want to feel. But then I'm there to help figure it out with them. What would be the best things to put your attention to, put your energy on, your focus to, that will then give you the results you're looking for. But I don't really get people like, how do I focus my energy? And I don't know, I haven't really. But that's clearly what I think most people are, you know, people who are wanting to change, I think eventually they recognize that, okay, I like have all these possibilities, there's so much self-help, there's so many options, but eventually you're like, okay, well, what would I like to focus on? Like what would be most beneficial for me right now in this moment, this part of my life? And that's sort of what we look at together, you know, and then, okay, let's focus on that.
Yeah, and I think that really is at whether people pose it that way, it really is at the basis of creating your own reality, right? Focusing your energy, focusing your attention. Have you experienced, this is a question for either one of you, have you experienced, and I was going to say in the last year, but let's say whenever, have you been able to determine something that maybe you were wasting energy on, and then you decided, well, I'm not going to spend my energy there anymore? Has there been something in your life that you've eliminated or transformed by saying, hey, this is sapping my energy, this is taking something away from me, and so I'm going to stop doing this thing? Has there been something in your life, excuse me, like I don't know, it could be you know, watching too much TV or spending too much time eating at the grocery store, or I don't know, is there something where you've sort of made your life more efficient by removing the sort of energy drain in your life?
Yes, very recently. No, but the TV actually is a good point, because once I stopped, you know, just having a TV, it was like, okay, so now I get to really choose, you know, and instead of just, oh, you leave it open and watch whatever, you're not really controlling what you're putting into your mind. And anyway, so yes, that's one thing. But yes, recently I've made the decision to not worry about the worry of others. It's like, it's your own thing, it's not mine. There's no way I can put any energy there anymore. It's like, no way. So it's that's it, it's their business, and then I gotta, you know, focus exactly my energy in the right place into what is going to be the best for me, and that's going to be eventually the best for them anyway.
Absolutely right. I really love that you're saying that, because I know that's where I used to spend a lot of my energy. I mean, I am hyper, I hyperanalyze. I'm always wondering what's happening in the heads of people, and I still do, because it's part of the work that I want to do. I imagine the way people, I try to understand the way people think and try to determine that. But man, do I have to do a lot of shutting my mind down when I start losing myself in thinking about other people, trying to lose myself into thinking. Let me just change this here real quick. When I lose myself in thinking and worrying about what other people are thinking about me, worrying about other people's opinions, my God, the amount of energy that I lose when I get lost in that spiral of thought, right? Thinking, worrying about what other people are thinking. I think that's a huge energy drain. And then when you decide to focus on, well, whose opinions matter the most to me, who in my life do I want to pay more attention to, then I think that you eliminate a lot of sort of excess there. How about you, Sam? Anything that you sort of made more efficient?
Nothing is coming to mind recently. No, I'm having a hard time thinking of something recently that I chose to.
Because you've been focusing so well for a while now, so you know
I've been practicing,
good at it,
right? I've been, yeah. So I mean, over the years, I've done this many times.
Well, you've told me the reason I mentioned the TV thing is because you're the one who does that.
Yeah.
No, you'll tell me I'm not watching TV this week.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing more of this, more of that.
More journaling, more of that, more. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know one of the reasons you do yoga is really to occupy your time with something that will draw the best from you, as opposed to spending that same time doing something that is maybe meaningless or lacks the power, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just choosing to do yoga like very consistently recently was a huge, like, okay, this is what I'm focusing on. And I knew that it would be something that would be beneficial to me. And it took me a little while to get going in the sense of like actually doing it and purchasing like 3 months unlimited. But that was where, like, I guess a big change. It's not that I deliberately took my focus off something else and then, you know, because that's how your question sort of came out. That's how I understood it.
Yeah, it came out that way. It's improperly posed my question, because when you remove your attention from one thing, that doesn't mean that that space is now occupied with nothing. You know, one of the ways to focus your energy is to replace what you're focused on here with something else that is more closely related to your purpose, to your goal, to what your ambition is. And so when I see you, I've seen you move from one thing to another thing. From what I understood from our communications, is this thing, spending my time on this thing will be more deliberate, will be better for me, as opposed to spending my time on this other thing. And to me, that is focused energy. It's not about doing nothing. It's not just about eliminating other things. When you stop worrying about the thoughts of other people's, then you start thinking your own thoughts, right? That time gets occupied with something else.
Yeah, like what I was recognizing recently, and I think it happens every winter. I think that's my sort of thing, is like, I'm not outside. I'm not like having fun outside. I feel a lack. Like I feel like, oh, I need something. Like I'm missing something. Last winter it was I did this sort of same thing, and I found the gardening, and then I started the gardening thing in the spring. And this year it was like, okay, what else is good for me? What else helps me? What will I get in pleasure from? And then I recognized, I've been saying yoga for a while. Yes, okay, my wrist, yes, money, but whatever, I should do it, So then I like choose to do something like that, and I do it with intent. I do it with, I know that this is going to help me. I know that this is going to feel good, and it's going to, occupy my days that I'm not out, enjoying the winter, because I don't always love the winter. So yeah, that's where I sort of find things that I can focus my energy on, and that I know will be beneficial. Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got to wrap up the conversation soon, but I just want to ask you, and I have two things to mention here at the end.
Is Val about to pop out, Val?
No.
Oh.
I mean, where we have dance classes in the school, it's been closed since yesterday, so I'm really glad.
Just a side note, when am I even talking about this? I've already started. When I think about the snow like this, I find that every night that the zombie apocalypse is happening, and when we have snow like this, I go, hey man, I'm living in the best place ever for a zombie apocalypse. Zombies don't move very well in the snow. Anyway, that's not at all what I wanted to say. I wanted to ask you.
I was thinking about like the end of the world too when this happened, and then I was in my kitchen today like preparing my food, and I looked in, I was like, I would be fine for a while if something happened.
Yeah, me too. The other day I realized I had bought like cans of tuna thinking I had nothing left, and I already had I don't know how many. I'm like, okay, I'm good. Tuna, I'm good. I'm fine.
Meanwhile, last night I have to go outside to get a bottle of ketchup because we have none left. I'm like, all this food in the house, and I'm missing an essential item here for my meals here.
Ketchup is not essential, Peter.
It's not essential. I was going to say, well, it's a vegetable problem.
Anyway, that's a side note there. I wanted to ask you guys to end our conversation here. What kind of tip would you give to somebody who wants to focus their energy? What kind of advice would you give to someone who is wanting to focus their energy? What could they do to help them do that?
Well, my question, which is one of the questions I had in a workshop, is what do you know for sure that makes you feel good? So make a list of that, and then you can develop new habits based on that will feel good and then will give you more energy.
I really like that. I was talking to somebody a little while ago, and they said, I really love jogging. When I go jogging, it really helps me out. And they said, well, go jogging every day. I mean, why are we ignoring the things that are obvious, that we know obviously will for sure help us out? Do those things on a more regular basis. I really love that, what you just said there, Val. How about you, Sam? When you're thinking about helping people focus their energy, what kind of tips do you give them?
So I just had a client with somebody, and it was, so there's like, yes, I like jogging, blah, 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 but there's still like, it's still hard. And I know for myself, like, even though I know I like something, if I'm in like a rut or something and I'm not feeling so great or whatever, it's still hard to go and do that thing. And so and we've talked about it before, is to amplify all the positive emotions around that specific thing. So sit and write it down. Like, why do I want to go for walks? Why do I want to go for yoga? How am I going to feel? What is it going to be like? How am I going to feel if I do this for the next 6 months? What's it going to be like in 6 months if I do yoga for 6 months? Like to really, what is the word? The desire of
inflame the desire. That's what I said.
Yeah,
but I probably got it from Peter.
Yeah, that's right. So that's what Peter, I was looking at Peter like, what is it again? To inflame the desire, to make you like, even though you love that, like, let's build it up to a point where you just can't hold yourself back, or it's very hard to say no. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. I also create the habit, just personally, of doing things even if I don't want to, like doing the thing that helps me if I don't want to, because it's great to get yourself to that feeling place, and you have to learn to do that. I mean, you must learn to do that. But if you're at the absolute beginning, just make yourself do it. You make yourself go to work. You make yourself do all kinds of things on a regular basis that you don't want to. Just make yourself do it. Just commit yourself for the next week or two. Just make yourself do it, and whether you feel like it or not, and then get to that feeling place, and then you'll be able to move forward. That's kind of like what we were talking about in our last episode, the willpower. So it just reminded me of that. I believe both things. I believe what Sam is saying there, and I also believe in sort of kicking yourself in the butt sometimes, gently, lovingly, as best as you can. Non-violence towards the self, like our friend here says, non-violence toward the self, but a little violence sometimes. Bad Guru would say a little bit of violence sometimes does you a lot of good. Anyway,
you mean to the others?
To other people. So I'm just going to tell you two things real quick to help you focus your energy. Stop complaining as much as you can, and of course you will sometimes, but just stop complaining. That's just a huge waste of energy. Become solution-oriented or say nothing, because when you complain, you give energy to that. You give it to your mind. You become very good at complaining. We all friends who are extremely good at complaining. Just stop complaining as much as you can, and start writing notes. So in our last group motivational consultation, I told people to get a book, a brand new book, and start writing down your thoughts, writing down your notes. Not the negative things, not the bad feelings, just the ideas that you think are cool, the ideas that you don't want to forget. Because I know that I spend a lot of time either worrying about remembering something, so forgetting a good idea or whatever it is, or I spend time trying to come up with ideas when I know I've had ideas throughout the week. So writing them down in a book helps you to keep track of that, and it helps you to the space for your brain that you use to remember things or to come up with ideas, well, you can just use the time that you have during the week for that, and then you have everything in a book. So note-taking and not complaining, I think, really, really cool tools. Anyway, that's it for our conversation for Focus Energy. If you want to have more conversations, definitely come out if you're in the Montreal area after the snow is melted, of course, a little bit. We're going to have a fun time talking more about this. Before I let you guys go, before our segment, What's for Dinner, I have to let you guys know what's coming up on our calendar real quick. Is there anything? Sam is shaking her head. Sam's saying, don't talk about that because we are planning our calendar. We have a lot of great things happening.
We're so bad. Like, there's nothing. But, like, there's nothing because, like, people are not going to want to go out now.
we know our Canadian friends. We know what's happening. We're in the planning stages now. We do have something really fun coming up in April, another Designing the Self event. That was a great success last time, so we're just fine-tuning that. We're going to be posting that very soon. It's going to be scheduled for April 8th, and then we also have an event, major event coming up in May. So it's not we're doing nothing. It's just
No, I'm going to plan something for next week. It's just I'm not used to having like a week where I'm like, maybe I just won't plan anything.
This is a good week not to have anything scheduled. I almost had 2 or 3 things scheduled. It was a good week for that. All right, you guys, the last segment, what's for dinner? What did you eat in the last 7 days, or what are you about to eat this evening if you haven't eaten yet that you enjoyed? Doesn't have to be special, just has to be something that you enjoyed.
Well, for me it was, yep, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
No. I'm sorry.
How dare you, Sam? How dare you cut Val off?
I'm sorry.
Better than that.
But I'm gonna go. Okay, so I made a quinoa salad again today. I haven't made a quinoa salad in, I guess, like, I don't know how long it's been. Sometimes in the winter I like go away from quinoa salads and I crave like the fattier stuff. But today I made myself a yummy quinoa salad with kale, with roasted sweet potatoes like Val loves, homemade dressing, apple cider vinegar. I put walnuts, I put almonds, I put carrots and cucumbers. I'm just naming them all because like all of that together is just like life to me. And so I had that earlier, and I'm probably gonna have some more soon. So.
That is beautiful. The way you describe it on top of it and saying it's life to you. Wow.
It feels, like I eat it and I'm just like, this is so good for me. Oh my God. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Okay, so mine was, it wasn't in the past week, it was, I don't know, 10 days ago or something. My friend Kelly, who you know, made a lemon bread for me, or is it lemon loaf? Or anyway, the same kind when she made lemon and cranberry bread, but just lemon, no cranberries in it. And it was to die for. I ate the whole thing in like 3 days. It was just so good.
I really like that. Well, look, Sam and I, we went to a St. Buck and we had some delicious beer. Sam had an IPA beer, which I think has become her favorite one. And then I had a very delicious amber beer. I know I don't talk about alcohol enough on the show, but there we go. It's not exactly food,
And you
but
loved your burger.
Yeah, I really love the burger, and I was going to say the burger, and I was really surprised at that because I don't usually like spending my money at pubs or bars for food, but that was actually very surprisingly delicious blue cheeseburger. But the beer just going down, I can imagine. And I think about it every day. I'm this close to buying beer every day, but I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need it. I'll just save it for special occasions. Anyway, you guys are really lovely. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. I'm glad you could make it despite the storm and all the snow outside. What am I talking about? It's the internet. Anybody can make it here. You can make it here. Tune in next week for another exciting episode of
The Appreciationist.
Take care, you guys.
Bye.
That was a lot of fun. Take care, everyone.